Right back, though.
Year and to accomplish what we want to accomplish.
We're trying to build the championship freaking football team right now.
Papa, I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Well, what have we found here as I hit the wrong button to do a thing? What a solid start for the YouTube crew who's watching this right now. Thinking, man, we have stumbled upon some pretty bad sports podcasting / video making content right here.
Possibility.
That's probably what they're thinking. That's what I would be thinking.
Yeah.
But don't go anywhere yet because the show is just starting. This is, in fact, episode 8 of Fans of the Weiss with your hosts,
Derv
and Dylan. Man, what a great feeling it is right now. How are you feeling?
I feel pretty good.
Feeling pretty good?
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good over there?
Yeah. One could even say feeling great.
Wow. Whoa. Great. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a strong feeling there because I believe the Durf and Dylan crew overall this weekend went 5-0. We had a Seahawks win.
Yeah.
Over a division rival. We had a Bills win over a conference rival, if not just the entire rival of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We had Dylan go 2-0 in the fantasy leagues to move to 5-1 and 6-0. And then Durf, I believe, also won his fantasy football match, which is what, 3 in a row?
Well, actually, no.
Oh.
Unfortunately, no. I lost by 2 points.
Oh.
So, 4-1? Sure.
Oh. Well, this is embarrassing.
Well, I was so close, and I wish I didn't swap Ayuk and Tyler Boyd.
You would have smoked your opponent if you had Ayuk in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that puts a damper on this just a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We can power through this.
Absolutely.
Hold my hand. Give me a hug. We will fight through this.
All I can think of when people say "hold my hand" is that TikTok where they like
hold my hand,
take my hand, and well now we wait and keep going, keep
holding my hand. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think of. That's good. Before we dive too deep in this episode, we needed to get to our unofficial sponsor of episode 8 of Fans of the West. That will be Slippers. Slippers. Just in general. No specific brand, because I usually just burn through like 2 pairs of slippers a year. I don't know why. Like I guess I've just never bought a solid pair of slippers. So
Like, I feel like if you wear them all the time, like they're meant to not last.
yeah, I
Like,
wear
I don't
them
know how
pretty much.
old
As soon as I get home, I kick off the work shoes and the slippers just
Right.
go on immediately.
Now, are you like slippers with like the fur inside, or like for me, I just put a pair of flip flops on.
A pair of flip-flops.
Like the strap over your feet kind of flip flops, not the thong style flip flops.
So you do not wear slippers.
No.
Wow, this is quite the take here. Unfortunately for our unofficial sponsor, only one half of the show wears slippers.
I mean, I've tried to wear slippers, my feet get too hot.
They get too hot. Okay. That's fine. I sometimes I get that. Usually when that happens, I just kick them off for a little bit, cool them off, and then I put them back on. It happens.
Right.
But okay. Well, I love slippers because it's getting to that time of year where you can't be walking around your hardwood floors wearing just bare feet. That's not going to cut it.
Right.
So put something on that's comfy. Something that'll keep your feet warm. Slippers. The unofficial sponsor of episode 8. And I guess in some people's cases, flip-flops in the middle of the fall and winter. He's just out here wearing flip-flops.
6 inches of snow outside, and I gotta take the garbage out. My flip flops are on.
Well, to be fair, I do take off my slippers if I'm trudging in the snow, because slippers are an indoor shoe, contrary to what some people believe.
Right.
Because you get those things wet. I mean, your slippers are chalked if you get them wet.
Oh yeah.
They're a very delicate shoe.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I usually burn through like 2 of them, because not to get too graphic here, but your feet sweat like you said. And it just goes back to, they get wet, they're done. They're very delicate shoes. So, you wear them. If I get through a whole season with 1 pair, that's a win. And then I go back to Walmart and get another pair for the next season. That's pretty much what we do.
There you go.
Slippers. Or flip-flops. It's weird now. I got like a weird vibe now. Okay. That's like shoes.
Shoes.
Indoor
shoes.
There you go. Nailed it. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we had a couple of dubs in week 6 here. A couple of big ones. Like, this was a good feeling week. This wasn't just like your regular week where it's like, oh, the Seahawks beat the Lions, or like, oh, the Bills just pissed on the Steelers. It's not like that. It was a big, important weekend. So I feel like we definitely need to start with Seahawks in this segment for reasons, once we get to, I don't want to go back to back here and then the show's over, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So yeah, in week 6, we had the Cardinals visiting Seattle, and Seattle was 2.5 point underdogs. I did not see this result coming, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
I know the Cardinals have not been playing great. I knew this was a thing. I was aware of the situation. But like most teams, you get that one matchup a year, like that you play, whether it's a division opponent or someone that you're just used to seeing, someone you got a history with. The Cardinals usually go to Seattle, and they just beat them. That's just what happens. It doesn't matter if they're having a good year, bad year, they just beat them. And, the Seahawks defense was not playing well. The offense was another story. Offense was playing very well. But the Cardinals should have just been able to do whatever they wanted. I know there's been some injuries, but my goodness, it's still Kyler Murray. He's electric. You still have some players out there. What happened? The Seahawks defense happened. The Seahawks re-signed their first-round draft pick from a couple of years ago. We'll say 2014, 15. Bruce Irvin. He was not active for this game, but he was a practice squad member. They re-signed him. So he was in the building. He's a linebacker, first-round draft pick linebacker. And something, I don't know if it was him. I don't know what clicked. They just attacked. And in a statement after the game, after an 8-sack I heard 8 sacks. I don't feel like there was 8 sacks, but I guess we'll just go with 8 sacks. I'm fine with 8 sacks. 8 sacks is a lot of sacks. I like sacks. 8 sacks. We'll go with 8. After an 8-sack performance by the Seahawks defense, Poona Ford, Quentin Jefferson, a couple people got behind the mic and they said, the defensive plan changed. And the defensive plan was stop trying to read and then react on defense. Stop trying to figure out what it's going to be and then reacting and it's too late. Your job is to go get the sumbitch with the football. Which they ended up doing very well.
Nice.
They struggled in the first quarter a little bit. There was a couple of moments where it's like, it was a lot of bend, don't break in this game, which we get a lot. It's the Seahawks defense specialty is bend, don't break. So they forced a field goal early after a big Kyler Murray run. Couple of that, down the road. That was really the only offensive points that they had of the day, though, because the only other points they got was on the fumbled punt that they recovered for a touchdown in the end zone. Outside of that, the defense shut down the Cardinals' offense. Shut them down. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that the Cardinals are out here going for it on fourth down instead of kicking field goals. They could have had easily 6 or 9 more points, but they were just like, nah, let's go for it on fourth down. They went 0 for 3 on fourth down conversions until their last drive, which ended in an interception, which I'll get to right now, actually.
There you go.
The defense played very well. You know who else played very well on defense? Here's your PG-13 rating. That motherfucking Tariq Woolen. Oh my God. The kid, he don't quit. The kid don't quit. And neither does Kobe Bryant. Neither of these kids quit, man. Kobe Bryant first started it with a fumble on a Kyler Murray run, punched the ball out of his hand, which was then recovered by Tariq Woolen, which seems to that's back-to-back weeks that's happened where Kobe Bryant forces a fumble and Tariq Woolen recovers. That's back-to-back weeks. And then on the final drive where the Cardinals are trying to come back and win, interception. It was on fourth down, and like people were saying, he should have just batted the ball down. No. I want stats. I want that 4th interception on the season. His 4th interception in 4 games. Give me that stat. I don't care about knock the ball down for field possession. The game was over. There was like 2 minutes left in the game. No. You grabbed that ball, young blood. Look at this kid go. Defensive Rookie of the Year, without a doubt. 4 interceptions. 1 was a pick 6. He's blocked a field goal, which was returned for a touchdown. 2 fumble recoveries. The kid's a beast. An absolute monster on the field. So I'm very excited. There's a lot of pieces on this offense this defense that are very good. Same with the offense. I'm just really excited about this defense right now. Because they finally showed up. And I know they have pieces, and it's like they're starting to turn like some kind of tide. And like I don't know if Bruce Irvin was the reason, or if they really just had like a coaching mentality change where they're just like, something has to change, so let's just try this, and it worked. So now we just have to wait and see if we can get this in two straight games or not. So the points I had last week were it's Ken Walker time. Someone I didn't even talk about in that rambling. Yeah, Ken Walker came to play, and he looked so good. He looked so good. Like, he's fast. His style is like he attacks where he's supposed to be. He attacks the hole, but he's so quick. He, like, literally jumps in the air. Like, his jump cuts are like he literally just, like, stands up and jumps and then, like, just, like, breaks it to the outside. He did that so many times. It's crazy. And that was what he did on the touchdown run. He was running to the outside, tried to break in, and then he's got to get tackled. It was literally just like, whoop, like, you know, like the old boomer thing there. Whoop.
Yeah.
He would just do that, and then he just runs it to the outside and then stiff arms a guy and basically high steps into the end zone. He's so good. I'm so excited to see this kid really get significant touches, because without Penny, I don't even think DJ Dallas had a carry. He was a 3-down back this entire game. He took this like almost every single snap, I think. It's probably not true, but he took pretty much every snap. So that was great to see. We already talked about, Tariq Woolen there for the second point. And then the third point, the refs. Not really the refs as much as just the Seahawks staying more disciplined. They cut their penalties in half from last week. They went from 12 against the Saints to 6 this week. So
That's better.
that's a lot better, I would say. As long as you're out of the double digits, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
12 is a lot. 6 is still not great, but I will take 6 over 12.
Right.
And then my bets, I had Cardinals -3. That did not smack. But I also had a Ken Walker anytime score. And that, in fact, did smack. So overall,
half a smack.
I was very happy with the game. I really didn't have much to say. Geno Smith came out and said that he knows he has to play better even after a 19-9 win. Yeah, he could probably play a little better. It wasn't his best game of the season. But, you know, he didn't turn the ball over as far as I can remember. And he took care of all I've ever asked from week 1 was that he doesn't turn the ball over, which he has done very well. So, in which he's obviously done many other things very well, but he's also, but my main thing was don't turn the ball over. Just don't lose for the team. And he's done it. He's done that.
Nice.
So don't be so hard on yourself, Gino. Don't be so hard on yourself. We love you, Gino. MVP. So I heard there was another game that happened.
Yeah. There was a rematch of the divisional playoff, which is AKA the greatest game in the postseason, at least.
In the history of the NFL?
Yeah.
I would tend to agree.
Yeah, it was very nerve-wracking at the end there, but the Bills were at the Chiefs. Bills were actually 2.5-point favorites, and they won by 4 with a final of 24-20. So that was a couple little rough start. Both teams had turnovers. Josh Allen and Singletary with the fumble, or I think just a Josh Allen fumble. And then, Chiefs marched right down the field, but then they were looking like they were just going to go in and score, and there's Kaiir Elam just, yep, I'll take that ball out of your hands and take my second interception for the year.
So good.
So good. Like, just them fighting for the ball. Like, these Bills, like, Gabe Davis fighting for the ball against Minka Fitzpatrick last week for the touchdown, and then we get Kaiir Elam doing the same thing against the Kansas City receiver, for that touchback to get the interception. So it was just it was great. Man, those touchdowns to Diggs and Gabe Davis were just, I thought, phenomenal. Like, Allen puts it right in their hands. Like, there was no them having to reach for it, like having to come back through the corner to get it, jump up and get it. They're just great. But this was like a very evenly matched game for the most part. But I think that obviously the Bills won the game, but I think the Bills are the more complete team right now for sure.
I've had a hard time looking at the Chiefs and thinking that they are a complete team. Like, they've had their games,
right?
But they've had some struggles. The Bills have had a few, but I feel like they've had less. Like, I think if you take away the fact they were playing in, like volcano weather in Miami, and then like that first half against Baltimore, take that away.
Yep.
And they've been like they've been a perfect football team.
Which, I mean, the first half in Baltimore is probably literally them still
getting
hungover basically from the Miami game, because like the Baltimore game, like they mentioned that Josh Allen, like, it didn't feel normal again until that Friday before the game from the Miami game. So like, if the quarterback felt like that, I can only imagine what some of the other players felt like. So,
yeah, I mean, watching some of those receivers like Diggs, and I know Gabe was hobbled. You could still tell Gabe was hobbled.
Oh yeah.
But then like Diggs just wasn't going and getting some of those passes that weren't great passes, but he wasn't making the extra effort. And that seemed like what most of the team was doing in that game. They obviously flipped the switch, and they played a pretty darn complete game against the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, it was very good. I mean, Josh Allen hit touchdowns to Diggs, Davis, and Dawson Knox got his first of the year, so that was good to see him. And that was that in the Dawson Knox touchdown to put them up by 4. Like, Allen worked hit the pocket, I think, very well in that situation against the Chiefs defense that was trying to crash on him. And he threw Dawson Knox open for that touchdown. So I thought that really proved well. Speaking of the Chiefs defense, I'm pretty sure it was Chris Jones.
Yep, it was Chris Jones. I already know where you're going.
We can chop his legs off now.
Yep.
And we can grind him up and feed him back to him. Not to get too dark there, but
very dark.
Obvious tripping call, because that's the only way you're taking Josh Allen down like that in the open.
I mean, it was right in front of a ref.
And they didn't throw a flag.
I mean, he looked at it happen, and he's just like,
right.
"Nah, that's good. We're fair. That's fair. All good. No big deal."
Oh. So, yeah, so there was that. But, I mean, Chiefs defense, they had times where they were pressuring Allen. Obviously, they got a couple sacks, but at one point in the game, the Bills were just like, all right, here it goes. We're going to run some Allen runs here, QB runs, QB bootlegs to take down, get a first down, get get those 5-6 yards we needed for the first down in this part of the drive. And I think it threw the Chiefs for a loop. But the Chiefs also blitzed a ton in this game, it seemed like, against the Bills. Like, they were sending 5 guys without question most of the time. And I think that's exactly when Allen in the pocket was able to make the time he needed. That's when we get the 30-yard gain by Diggs. All of Isaiah McKenzie's drop balls that he was open for 20 yards on the field. Like,
didn't help my fantasy team. I still won, but boy, oh boy, could I have used some cushion from Isaiah there.
I don't know what his problem was. I think he's still probably skittish from. I'm gonna say he's skittish from the concussion. I mean, protocol he was in. I think that's kind of fair. A little bit of it. I was a little surprised they didn't use other players in the situation, but Allen was able to rely on Diggs and Gabe Davis so much in this game, which is just reassuring in this offense, it being so well. But yeah, Bills did let the Chiefs tie it up at the end of the first half with 16 seconds, but it was only the first half, so
tough to see.
I think the Bills allowed that to happen for the most part. Like, they were playing prevent in the end of the first half. Like, let's get to the first and let's get to halftime. That's what they're doing, because I think if it was the end of the game, they would have played differently.
Yeah, there's no way at the end of the game in a scenario similar to what overtime was and the end of that, 13 seconds and whatnot.
Yeah,
I would have liked to think that in a game tying or winning scenario, they would not do that again. Which was why it was surprising to see it at the end of the half. But I guess they just didn't care. They would rather play prevent than allow something to get over their heads for a touchdown. Like, I would understand that, I guess.
Yeah. So, I'll go over my 3 things I was looking to watch here against the Chiefs here for the Bills. Containing Patrick Mahomes and not giving up those crazy short passes that go for long gains or touchdowns. I think the Bills did that pretty well. I think majority of the big gains were actually somewhat deep throws, intermediate to deep throws. It wasn't like these little, there wasn't the shovel passes or anything. A lot of that. The Bills really did a really good job of containing Patrick Mahomes, and just looking at the interception at the end of the game for the Bills. I watched someone else analyze it, and I'm like, that's a great way to analyze it. Is that the Bills literally made Patrick Mahomes move in the pocket a certain way to contain him better, which then allowed Teron Johnson to, be that ball hawk and get that ball. So I think that was a great job on the Bills defense to contain Patrick Mahomes as much as they did, and really control the game as much as possible. And then I think Von Miller really is the difference. I think if we didn't have Von Miller this year, they could probably do a decent job with the guys that are around them on the defensive line. But I think Von Miller really does bring that extra containment, pass rush that the Bills desperately needed, I think, last year. So
He's shocked me with his
he
performance.
is earning his money this year for sure.
I thought they were just paying him to be a mentor. This dude's out here being a game wrecker. That's crazy.
2 sacks again. Yeah. I think he has like 7 or 8 sacks already this year.
I'll look that up real quick.
I think it's something ridiculous like that. So the Bills defense did a good job. I think Patrick Mahomes. If you were to look at the other part of the Bills defense that I was kind of keeping an eye on was those Bills linebackers versus Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce did have a couple of good, decent yardage catches, but for the most part, Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds actually did a really good job in taking away the yak, as they would call it, on Travis Kelce for sure. So, Bills did a pretty good job there. And my last thing I was looking to watch here was the Bills leaning more on the run game, and especially after seeing what the Raiders did to the Chiefs last week. And the Bills did to a point. Singletary definitely had a lot more yardage than he did in previous games. I think he ended up with 85 yards rushing and 22 yards receiving. So they definitely leaned on Singletary more. It was odd that Zach Moss was a healthy scratch, but when he's a healthy scratch, the Bills tend to do pretty well. So there's something there. They have the right combo where they, when they make him a healthy scratch, they have the right person they're replacing him with. So James Cook did a little bit on the offense. I didn't see a ton out of him, but it was good to see him, taking those snaps from Singletary to, keep Singletary fresh a little bit longer in the game than he was. So a couple other points here. How many Bills players will be healthy for the game? Pretty much all of them came back and were ready. Jake Kumaro was the only one who was out before they had to release their inactive Sunday morning. So that was great to see. They weren't all the Bills players that played in the game weren't completely fully medically cleared, healthy to fly with the team even, aka Jordan Poyer, because the man rented a bus or a van to have someone drive him 15 hours to Kansas City and then 15 hours back so he could be there for the game because he wasn't medically cleared to fly with his rib injury because of the pressure in the cab of the airplane.
Dude's a beast.
Yeah.
That's that Bills mentality right there.
Right?
How many people would do that? How many players with rib injuries have ever done that? Mm-hmm. You hear players with rib injuries all the time, and it's like, I'm probably just going to sit this one out, boys, and go play some Call of Duty back home. Not Mr. Poyer.
Not Poyer. And that's gonna help him, I think, get his paycheck this offseason for sure. So second other point was Bills offense turning more to Shakir and Cook to keep the Chiefs on their toes. They did a little bit, not a ton. Shakir, I think, had a more impact in the kickoff and punt return. Kind of like, he's taking over that Jamison Crowder spot that with Crowder being out for the year or being out for a few weeks at least. And James Cook didn't have a ton of yardage running the ball, but they definitely used him to kind of shake things up for sure a little bit. So they're getting the rookies in there, but the Bills are just going to use what they have working right now, and that it's completely understandable there.
No need to shake it up too much.
Right. We got plenty more games to play. And then the last thing, which we kind of talked about a little bit already, was will Sean McDermott be able to manage the game better than the divisional playoff game? First half of the game, you would questioned a little bit at the end of the first half for his management skills, but I think at the end of the game, to seal the victory, I think they did a great job there. After they got the interception, they knew how to run the clock down, even with the Chiefs using their timeouts to effectively sync the play clock with the game clock, and then take that final knee and then let the clock run out. So they definitely did a good job there, and I think McDermott did manage a better game than I think what we saw in the divisional playoff game. So that was good to see. And favorite bet from the game I had was first drive resulting in an offensive touchdown that obviously did not hit because Josh Allen did fumble the ball and let the Chiefs start their first drive at that fumble spot. So no go.
Unfortunate.
But
it might have resulted in a touchdown if he didn't fumble the ball. You never know.
That's very true.
The things that we'll never know. Yeah. Well, the Bills will be on a bye week in week 7. It was funny because before we type up notes. We do that just
right.
I feel like that's what people are supposed to do. If you just free ball it, good for you, but not us. I was trying to find the spread for the Bills-Packers game. And I could not find that some bitch anywhere. It was like, why are all the other lines out, but not this one? Like, are they really thinking about it that hard? Like, this seems kind of weird. Like, make it 10 points and just move on.
Right.
No. Yeah, the Bills are on a bye week. That is going to be for week 8.
Yeah. So I'll just say real quick, the Bills are on the bye week. I did see a stat for Packers percentage of chance, or the Packers % chance to win the next 5 or 6 games. The Packers currently only have a 21% chance at winning against the Bills.
I mean, that's completely reasonable.
I think it's completely reasonable, and it's how did the Packers get that bad that quick?
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has obviously been extremely distracted. Mm-hmm. He's been going on all kinds of podcasts. He's talking about all the, whatever drugs he's been taking to help his brain, whatever that is. He's dating a witch. He lost his number 1 wide receiver, which is the only guy he could really ever trust. Everyone else he just yells at usually.
Right.
It's been a disaster. And not to mention he lost Nathaniel Hackett, which at this point I don't know if that's a big loss or not because look at what's happening in Denver. So I'll just bring it up because I don't know. It's going rough for him right now.
I mean, he's not the only seasoned quarterback who's had it rough right now too. I mean, not that I want to talk about other football teams right now, but Brady, holy cow!
Yeah,
he is blaming everyone except he's blaming everyone except himself.
It's because he's the GOAT that has 7 rings. So
this is the season that he should have stayed home.
Yep. He tried desperately to get back involved, and he's just gonna look like a fool.
He went too far.
Yeah, he's in the middle of his divorce stuff. They have lawyers Giselle and him.
Right.
I don't know what's gonna happen out of this, obviously, but that's going on. And then he wasn't at practice on Friday, so he could go to the wedding for Robert Kraft, who is 90 and married a 47-year-old, which is just
who. What NFL owner gets married on a Friday in football season?
Robert Kraft.
In New York City. It's not even you
man.
get it in the fall, somewhere where it's scenic in the fall, the leaves are changing. No, this is in New York City with this. You can get married any time of year in New York City. It doesn't change.
Robert Kraft is built different, okay?
Yeah, built like a D-bag.
So Tom Brady missed practice on Friday to fly out to New York City for that wedding, and then flew back. He met the team in Pittsburgh late Saturday, so he missed the team walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
and then just shows up on Sunday, sucks at football, and just yells at his teammates.
Trying to motivate them.
Like, this dude is a mess right now.
Yeah.
Like you said, not to get too deep into other teams, but like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, the veterans are having a tough time this season. Not to even mention Russell Wilson as well. So it's been going kind of rough. It's a young man's league now. Maybe it's time for these people to leave.
Maybe.
Just let Geno Smith take over the league. Geno Smith will leave the league in good hands. Everyone else can retire.
Oh man.
Speaking of Geno Smith, now Geno Smith gets to travel to Los Angeles to play the Chargers. They're going to go up against Justin Herbert and a Chargers team that has not looked like the Chargers team we really expected.
Mm-hmm.
I know they've been missing Keenan Allen, but that doesn't mean they don't have other weapons. I mean, they have Gerald Everett, who is they do not utilize Gerald Everett at all, but that dude is so good. He's a very talented tight end.
Mm-hmm.
They have Palmer. They still have Eckler. I don't know why they don't use the backup there to Eckler more often, just to kind of shake things up. Can't remember his name now.
I don't remember his name. I saw him play in the game like a bunch of times, but I don't remember.
J.C. Jackson. No, that's the corner.
No, that's
maybe
the
his
corner.
name is Jackson though. I feel like it is. I don't know. We'll figure it out later.
Who knows?
Sony Michel got a carry though. I saw that. That was fun. Good for him. But they
he was coming in a lot for Eckler.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to the other running back there. Maybe they just don't want to use him. I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe.
But there's so many pieces on that offense. Not to mention all the pieces they have on defense, which is why everyone thought that the Chargers were going to be who they were. Because they pick up Khalil Mack. They have J.C. Jackson, who they end up actually benching because he's playing so poorly. Derwin James.
Yeah.
They have so many pieces on that defense, and it just hasn't mattered. They're playing pedestrian football, and it's weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird. The Chargers are a cursed franchise. They have to be.
Oh, for sure.
To be one of the most, just looking at rosters, to be like a top 3 most talented roster in the league, to be performing like this, it's weird.
Yeah. Watching last night's game for the Chargers, it was just super Herbert kept relying on Palmer a lot. Barely targeted Mike Williams. Seemed like they barely targeted Gerald Everett. And then Eckler, they tried to run the ball with Eckler half the time, and it was like, it doesn't work if you don't come up with a better plan than that.
And just doing checkdowns to Eckler is not going to get it done. I know he's a talented guy, and I know he can do special things with the ball in his hands. Mm-hmm. But the other team knows that as well. And if you even look in his direction, they're going to go get him. And the yards after the catch are not going to be there. It's going to be like -1 yards after the catch most of the time because he's just going to get knocked back.
Right.
So it's been a weird team, the Chargers, but they're still 4-2, I believe. They've managed to squeak out these wins at the end of the day, even though they've been close, weird wins. So now they get to play the Seahawks, which maybe a week ago, everyone would probably think this game would be a lot more uninteresting. The Chargers get Keenan Allen back this week, and they would just be able to open up the field and just tear apart a Seahawks defense that has been doing nothing to stop offenses the entire season. This may still be true. It might have just been the Cardinals thing. This could easily go back to allowing 40 points, all right? That could happen, and I will sit here, and let you know that is still a possibility. But coming from a Seahawks fan, what we need to see is a back-to-back week from this defense, which is one of my points here to talk about the Chargers' high-powered offense. And, Geno's going to need to be able to keep up. Geno's got to do Geno things, but I talk about the offense a lot usually. I need the pass rush to exist for a second straight game. And I'm mainly looking at Poona Ford. I didn't bring him up before because I want to talk about him now. Poona Ford was the catalyst of our defense last year. He was. I know Bobby was there. I know Daryl Taylor had a big year. I know a lot of guys were out there doing things, but Poona Ford was always the guy in the middle of everything, getting to the quarterback, doing the big stuffs behind the line. Al Woods has been doing a lot of this year, but now he's injured. Poona Ford stepped up big last week, and I need him to do that again. I need you to be Poona Ford. Take that big belly of yours and go lay it on top of a quarterback. Gently, though. Gently. Because this is Justin Herbert. They will throw a flag. Kyler Murray, they won't worry about it too much. You gotta be careful if it's Justin.
I'm so confused why they think Justin is so like, why they give Justin that treatment like that. Because like I feel like Josh Allen didn't get that treatment for his first couple of years. Like, so Herbert's in his third year now?
Probably.
Because he's the same year as Tua. I think they were 2020 draft. I just had not seen I haven't seen the progression in his ability improve since his rookie year.
No.
Like there were some throws last night that were just bad.
I think that's what everyone's been saying. Like that's come out a lot now. Because people have been looking for the upgrade here. Because he came out slinging in his first year. Second year, it's like, okay, still the same kid, makes some mistakes, but he's still slinging the ball pretty well. Now it's, year 3, like, okay, we're going to need a little bit more out of you now. Let's start managing the offense better. Let's start hitting more targets. Let's start going downfield. I need you to call out, be your offensive leader.
Right.
You do not see that with this kid. And social media has taken notice that there's people calling him the most overrated player in the NFL right now, just because of how the NFL treats him.
I mean, I would say it's Lamar Jackson all day, but I think Herbert's a close second at least.
Lamar Jackson,
he really is. Like I think the media is like really getting on him now because of how how his poor accuracy makes or allows the Ravens to lose games late.
Yeah, I mean it's been 3 weeks straight. He had the Dolphins game where they were up big and they lost, and then whatever Bills. It was the week after that, it was the Bills. Yep.
Well, it would have been Dolphins, and then it was a week, and then it was the Bills,
and then it was the Giants, where they were up 20-7 or 20 to something, and the Giants end up winning 23-20 or whatever the final score was.
Right.
I mean, it's just been, and it's the story of Lamar not continuing through the rest of the game. Pops off early, and then nothing. Mm-hmm. And it was strictly his fault against the Giants with the interception and then a fumble. Strictly his fault that they lost that game. Because it's not even like, the interception was a good play on the defense. He threw a horrible ball. The fumble, he just has the ball out here. Like the old like Michael Vick days where like all these guys would just be running around with the ball like, here's the football. Hey, they're just running with it, not tucking it away or nothing. The ball's just hanging here. Right. And Thibodeau comes in just like, whoop, I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely just, his fault. Go off on a tangent there. But I'd say the top two would be, in fact, Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert. So that was like one of my points, that pass rush. The second one, flip the script. I need the O-line to be a touch better. Geno saw a lot of pressure against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals do have a good pass rush. But so do the Chargers. They had 4 sacks on Russell Wilson. They blitz a lot, and they like to blitz from different spots. So Geno's going to have to be a real coordinator here. He's going to need to see the blitzes, call out his protections, and Kenneth Walker's probably going to have to step up as a pass protector on this one. It's going to be tough because they have a lot of talent in a lot of spots on the defense, and they know how to utilize it, especially in their blitz packages. So I'm mostly looking at, Charles Cross, Abe Lucas to keep doing their thing, but number one, Geno Smith being a game manager, call out your protections, help you and help your team, and tell them what you see because you're a vet. You should know what you're looking at.
Yeah, for sure.
And then my last one was obviously the return of Keenan Allen. They're going to be able to spread this field out a lot more. The Chargers with their main guy back, push the ball downfield. Tariq, baby. Like, this is going to be a point every week, I think. I need to stop making this a point because I just say it every week. I want Tariq on Keenan Allen, and I want him to shut him down. I want him to keep up with him running because he's so fast, too. Like, you know, like everyone was just like, oh, my God, Hollywood Brown is so fast. Like, right? Like, that was his thing. The dude is so fast. That interception Tariq Woolen had, Tariq Woolen was basically jogging next to Marquise Brown. Like, he's like just going on a go route, and Tariq's just jogging with him. And then he looks back, he's like, oh, the ball, and catches it. He's so fast. So as long as he knows the routes and Keenan Allen doesn't, find a way to break his ankles, he'll be able to keep in stride with him. I need him to make plays. I think he can do it. He's shown that he can. I love it. And Kobe Bryant, go get another fumble or something because it's so much fun. These two kids, forget everyone else on this defense. Those two kids are so fun. They're so good, and they're so fun to watch. Not to mention that we might get Trey Brown back soon, who was our rookie corner from last year who was playing very well before he had a big injury. So he's working his way back. So then we'll have 3 youngsters out there.
There you go.
Very exciting times.
3 is better than 2.
3 is much better than 2. Then we can finally get, Michael Jackson hasn't been playing bad, but we could. I think Trey Brown would be an upgrade. I think depends on what he comes back with. He played well last year, so I'm excited. My other points here, was just like my other points here is like my rookie watch. Just keep an eye on the rookies because that's what this team's doing. It's weird. My final big point here is I think as Seahawks fans, we've turned the tide here a little bit. We flipped the script, if you will. Before it was, let's just tank the shit out of this season. Let's just get people out there. We'll see what the rookies can do, and then Geno will just do Geno things, and we'll just suck and draft a quarterback. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think we're closer to the reality that, hey, we're 6 games in and still tied for first in the division. Let's see if we can just do something weird. Maybe we can be special. Maybe we can win the division. As super weird as that is to say.
I don't have any problem with that though right now. I think the NFC West is so I think both West divisions are just upside down right now. The Seahawks have a chance there. The Cardinals are terrible. The Rams finally figured out that Allen Robinson played for them this past week.
Who?
Right? I think the 49ers could get the Seahawks in trouble.
Yeah, as we've seen
a couple weeks ago. Yeah. But you never know. Yeah.
I mean, that's all I'm saying is like maybe we can't do it. And that would just be like, makes sense, right? But at this point, if the season ended now, the Broncos would be giving us the number 7 overall draft pick. I'd be happy with that. And then how about we just go and do whatever we want to do? And if that means win football games, let's win them. So I think that's where a lot of Seahawks fans are at right now. But we're keeping an eye on the rookies because we're starting to get our comparisons in. We got Tariq Woolen being compared to Sherman, former wide receiver turned corner, picked in the 5th round, 4 interceptions here in 4 games.
Nice.
A lot of Richard Sherman comparisons to his rookie year. Kobe Bryant with all these punch outs. Could we have the next Peanut Tillman on our hands? The dude knows how to locate a football. He's doing very well. Charles Cross and Abe Lucas, they're holding their own. They're doing a very good job. And then Kenneth Walker Jr. III is making very close friends with Sean Alexander right now. Sean Alexander loves this kid.
Nice.
I'm not sure if he will be Sean Alexander, but I would love it if he was. Like, wouldn't that be something?
Like a more longevity, Sean Alexander?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, Sean didn't last too long. Running backs didn't last it long at all back then, though. I mean, like, you would get like a solid 3 or 4 years out of your guy, and then they were literally mush.
Right.
At least you have some I think you're able to stay healthy a little bit longer these days.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Boye Mafe, another one that we're kind of forgetting about because he hasn't been getting enough snaps. Last week, They gave him more snaps. He made a couple of good plays, not like game-changing plays, but he was there.
Right.
And he was present. You could see that he was playing football for the first time this season. So
okay, nice.
Keeping an eye on these rookies. My favorite bets for this game. This segment brought to you by BetUS. If you're in the U.S., you can bet on BetUS on sports. It's a sports book. BetUS. And you can use code OOTF when you make your first deposit for 125% deposit bonus. My favorite bets are actually going to be Seahawks plus 6.5. I think they can keep it close, if not win this game, just based off of how the Chargers have been playing lately. I know they get Keenan back. That's going to be a big deal.
Right.
But I believe in this team for the first time this season. I didn't believe in them last week against the Cardinals, and look what they did. So maybe they'll rip my heart out this week and make me go back to not believing. I don't know yet. But
there's a possibility. There is a possibility of that, but we're gonna stay. You're gonna keep believing. We're gonna stay positive. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
The Chargers can just do Charger things and throw the game away without questioning. So. And
they basically won't have a kicker because Dustin Hopkins somehow is just like his leg hurts a lot. I guess I don't know. It's like
something with his hamstring.
His hammy. Oh no.
Yeah,
you kind of need that to kick.
I think he pulled his kicking hammy, yeah.
Ooh. The plant leg or the kicky leg?
The kicky leg.
Ooh. You need a lot of extension in that leg. Hamstring injuries won't let you do that.
Yeah, I think he pulled it. Like he powered through pretty well last night. Or for the Monday night game, but
kick the game winner.
Yeah.
Good for him. And I also have over 51. I could very much see this being a shootout kind of game. As much as I say I want to see the defense do defensive things, it's going to be tough. I'm going over 51, which is a big number, but I
that is a very big number.
Very big
I think
number.
I feel like we haven't seen the Chargers do that, score that many points in a while, and
like 27 to 24 will get us there.
That'll do it.
It's a very realistic score for this game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the entire Seahawks. Like we said before, we do not have a Bills game to really cover here since they're on a bye week. Is there anything you want to say about your Bills heading into the bye week? Maybe something you're excited about, looking forward to?
Heading into the bye week, something I heard on the locker room post game speech was Josh Allen saying be smart, focus on the game, keep a level head, don't do anything dumb. And then he was like, enjoy the bye week. Like that's a leader right there.
He's such a leader.
That man is a leader.
He's such a man.
But I think besides that, really excited to hopefully see Trey White on the field next week, and hopefully being active for the Packers game. I don't think they'll just throw him right into the starting role, but I think he'll be on rotation to get his knee up. He is active now. I think that's something to keep an eye on.
I'm really looking forward to a Trey White, Kyer Elam tandem back there. I'm really excited for that.
It's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be so good. Prayers up for Micah Hyde, man. I just really wanted like a full strength secondary for y'all. That would have been so.
But they're doing really well though for what they have.
Right, which is why that's gonna be even scarier when like the starters are back, like are all like pretty much at full strength with the exception of Hyde.
Right.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
Love these teams. It's like, and that's we didn't expect to have this much fun with this podcast, mainly because I thought the Seahawks were going to be so much worse. But we get to come on here and have some fun and talk about some pretty good football teams.
Oh, yeah.
So much fun. That's going to do it for episode 8 of Fans of the Weast with your hosts,
Derv
and Dylan. We hope you have a fantastic week of football. We don't have to deal with Broncos in prime time until December 11th. But pray for our souls with the Bears and the Patriots on Monday Night Football this week. Go Hawks!
Go Bills!